Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our special virtual open house here at HJI. Thank you to all of you for taking time to spend your evening with us, at least for a portion of it, to learn more about HJI as an institution, about our programs of study, and in particular tonight about the Doctor of Ministry program. We're getting started just a couple of minutes late. We have a larger panel this evening, so we were organizing a bit more than we normally do, but thank you for your patience, and again, welcome. So to begin our program tonight, it's my honor, really my pleasure, to introduce our president of HJI, Dr. Thomas Walsh. Dr. Walsh is the 7th president of HJI International Graduate School for Peace and Public Leadership. He is also a 1979 graduate of HJI, and after completing his studies here, in that year, he went on to study and complete his PhD at Vanderbilt University's School of Religion, where he specialized in the study of religion and ethics. Since his graduation, also, Dr. Walsh has taught at a number of colleges and universities, as well as at HJI currently. And in fact, last semester he completed a course which he co-taught with Reverend DMin Dunkley. And this semester, he will be teaching a course entitled World Religion and Encounter with Christianity. Many of you know Dr. Walsh. He has worked very closely with the co-founders of HJI, Reverend Sun Myung Moon and Dr. Hak Jahan Moon, in the establishment and in the leadership of the Universal Peace Federation, where until recently he served as international chair. What you may not know is that Dr. Walsh is also an editor. He's edited more than 20 books and publications for the Universal Peace Federation, and he serves as executive editor of Dialogue and Alliance, which is an academic journal indexed by the American Theological Library Association. So it's my pleasure to welcome to say some words of opening at our program tonight, Dr. Thomas Walsh.
Thank you very much indeed, Stephen Boyd. We're so happy to have you as our Director of Enrollment Management and Student Life. As some of you know, but maybe not all, the position of being involved in enrollment management and admissions is a critical part of any higher education institution. And we're very fortunate to have Dean Boyd with us, who comes to HJI with 25 years of experience in enrollment management in higher education. Thank all of you for being here. I thank especially our panelists who are with us, all of you who've gathered as prospective students, I hope, who are thinking about this program, perhaps the Doctor of Ministry program, and particularly the component of clinical pastoral education, or CPE, which is a very exciting and important component of the DMin program. And we'll hear more about that from Dr. Kone in just a moment. I would just say that we are really inspired and excited about HJI. We have built on the foundation of UTS, the Unification Theological Seminary, as our name and brand. And with the guidance of our founder, at this time, Dr. Hak Jahan Moon, advised us to broaden and to develop more of a concentration and focus in our programs on peace. So we then moved to expand from the seminary foundation to a graduate school foundation, which gives us more latitude to build not only the spiritual formation and the religious studies component and the pastoral development and ministerial development that is often associated with the church life or religious life, coupled with the peace studies component that can apply spiritual religious principles and ideals to various sectors of society. the political sphere, the economic sphere, the social sphere, to make impact on our world? How do we transform our world so that when in our name we say HJ International Graduate School for Peace and Public Leadership, that we are raising up leaders who will make impact in the world, not only in the sphere of religion, but inspired by religion, making impact in all sectors, even going into areas of the business sector or private sector in life, or the media, or the arts, a wide range. And this is the vision of our founders, who created many, many initiatives and non-governmental organizations that seek to bring restoration and bring a God-centered worldview into all sectors of society. So we're excited about that. The DMin program, which means Doctor of Ministry, it's our one doctoral program. It's a flagship program of the institution. And the clinical pastoral education is a key component of that, which students really appreciate. So I welcome you. I really hope you will take a course and don't let any sense of I'm not qualified, I'm not good enough, I'm not adequate enough get in your way. That's not God talking to you. So you will be challenged, but not in any way that you cannot succeed and grow and develop. So I encourage you. Thank you for being here. I'm now going to invite a dear friend and colleague. He's my former pastor for about 7 years here in Westchester County, New York. And then he moved on to HJI, and I just followed him. He was my pastor, and I followed him. So I thought, well, he's now at HJI, I better go there. Not exactly, but I'm happy always to work with him. He's my neighbor, not far. We live not far apart. And he is the director of our Doctor of Ministry program, and the best person to tell us about that program and about the clinical pastoral education. He's originally from the Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire, a French-speaking, very, very significant nation in West Africa, and which has been very important to our movement. It was the first African country I visited back in 1982. Went to Abidjan, where we had a conference at that time. So I have a soft spot for the Ivory Coast and the great work that's gone on there over many decades. So without further ado, I welcome the director of the Doctor of Ministry program. He's also professor of peace studies at HJI, Dr. Disa Kone.
Thank you, Mr. President, Dr. Walsh, for this kind introduction. Actually, I was planning to go to UPF when you came to HJI, so I said maybe I'd rather stay. Well, thank you, everyone, for coming, especially our panelists. Some of you are current student, and others, I think Mary Carey, she's a graduate, and I also want to say thank you to all of you who joined the program tonight. I'm definitely excited that you join us today to consider the possibility to become a student in the Doctor of Ministry program. So I think there are quite some misconceptions about the DMin, and I think the reason for that is because primarily the DMin was created for pastoral ministry, more specifically. I was reading that the degree itself was called Doctor of Religion by the University of Chicago Divinity School in 1962. The degree, the Doctor of Ministry is also known in other part of the world as practical theology. And when I translated my Doctor of Ministry degree in the Ivory Coast French-speaking country, it was actually translated as practical theology. So the main purpose of the DMin, when it was created, was to reflect on the challenges the church was facing and how to practically address some of those challenges through a research-based project. That's very important. Not just like coming up with spiritual inspirations, but to go through research and find out and resolve those issues through a research-based project. And that hasn't changed, but the term ministry has evolved over time. In the past, ministry was perceived as service to the church or the religious body. But more and more, because of the way the world is evolving, changing, the world is becoming more and more interconnected with cultures coming together. So ministry is evolving and more trying to adapt to that reality. So, the best definition that I could find for ministry from a larger perspective is actually service to humanity. And that can be done in many ways through teaching, going through maybe Sunday school teaching or religious school, elementary school, religious school, and higher education, curriculum building. These are all part of teaching. You also have one component that is preaching, which is very important these days to be able to give a valuable sermon to your church community. But even more important, to be able to offer a sermon to a diverse group of religious body. I remember one time, Dr. Walsh, you mentioned that when I was pastoring the Belvedere community, I was invited to speak at Thanksgiving service with the Jewish community, the different Christian groups, and the Muslim community. So, in such an occasion, you want to be very sensitive to the variety of religious body there, and you want to be able to touch people's heart beyond their denomination. And I think this is such a crucial aspect in ministry as well, in the training part. Worship is one major component of it, and more, how to involve young people into worship services so they can have a direct experience with God is a major aspect that many people are seeking to do ministry in that area. And we also have what we call pastoral care, and the other term for it is now chaplaincy, which is in hospital chaplaincy, hospices, military, Congress and even MTA in New York City now hiring chaplains to support, because more and more people can see the need for spiritual care in many areas of life. And one major component of the Doctor of Ministry program as HJI is, of course, the clinical pastoral education, because to get in the doctoral program, you need a Master of Divinity. And the requirement to get a Master of Divinity is to do 1 unit of CPE, clinical pastoral education. And now, of course, there's another possibility to enter the program without necessarily doing an MDiv, which we call a pathway program for those who have an MA or MRE, however, or even other degree. However, we still highly recommend clinical pastoral education. Why? Because he will help you to better, to be successful in a degree program, but also it will prepare you for a specific area of a career in the field of chaplaincy. And I think Alassane is a chaplain, certified chaplain. I think he might probably say something about that if you ask him those questions. We also have the social ministry aspect, which I focused on in during my doctoral ministry program, because I was working in addressing the cultural conflict that was going on within the African diaspora in America, in New York more specifically. And that was very helpful to me. I will say a few words about it soon. And we do have also administration area. You could probably, do ministry in that area where you can help better support your organization, church, or nonprofit organization. And it can even goes to media and business, as we heard earlier. So when people ask me, why get a DMin? Why get a doctoral ministry? Can you do anything with a doctoral ministry? Is it worth the cost and time investment? Of course, yes, it's a valuable degree. However, you must find your voice, your calling, and your passion in the field of ministry. That's the key for your success in that area, in that degree program. Eventually, this is not a simple matter for many people. I myself, 11 years ago, I was in a program. I had the same concern. And I almost at a certain point quit the program because I was thinking, what am I going to do with the degree? But the reason why that was happening is because I didn't really find my voice through the program. And I'm so grateful to my professors who they were actually able to help me through that experience. So finally, I stayed in the program because I found that I was interested in teaching in higher ed, but also the area that I was interested in conflict resolution. And when I went back to Ivory Coast a few years ago, because I wanted to contribute as a visiting professor at the National University of Ivory Coast, the first thing they did was to look at my degree to see if it was accredited from an accredited institution. That's really important. And thanks God, HGI is an accredited institution, so you can take your degree wherever you want to. And the second thing they looked at was my dissertation project, which was so crucial for me to be able to, offer my service, more specifically in the Department of Sociology. So basically, the program as HGI is designed to help you find your voice, your passion, your calling in the larger field of ministry. That's why you must choose your emphasis very carefully, because that's really important in crafting your project, your target, your research population, so that you can contribute in a meaningful way. And there are many DMin programs out there, but what makes HGI degree unique, in my experience, is that it gives you room to find your voice, your calling, so that you can address a critical issue within your own community or beyond. But you do that through a research project, okay? And one last thing that the DMin program helped me with was my formation. Formation is a major component of SGI DMin program. And formation here means growing in maturity, growing in self-understanding, and growing closer to God. When that happens, it will impact your relationship with your loved one and the people you are working with in any capacity. If it's church or non-church, it will actually impact in a positive way because of the way that you were trained to deal with people deal with people who you're working with to accomplish any kind of project. So HGI DMin program look at the whole person, mind, body, heart, spirit, and seek to transform lives, not just to increase knowledge. So that's why if you choose to enroll in DMin program as HGI, you are also choosing to embark in a spiritual journey, a journey of self-discovery, self-knowledge, which will help you become a better version of yourself as a leader for your community and for the world. Thank you very much.
Well, very well spoken, Dr. Kone. I know a lot about the program, but listening to you speak only encouraged me more. And thank you for that. And I think also going back to what you've said and what I said earlier about our name, which is peace and public leadership. Please don't think of these words, peace and public leadership, in a strictly secular sense. As you know, peace is in the name of the founders' core institution, the Family Federation for World Peace and Unification. So peace is there throughout, Universal Peace Federation, and so on. And public leadership is a certain broadening of the concept of ministry. It's inclusive of ministry. It's almost a synonym for ministry expressed in a way that suggests a capacity to move into other sectors and other areas and consider that work wherever you are. You're in a public school teaching social studies. That can be your ministry. It's not a direct evangelical ministry, but it is indeed internally a ministry. So, Dr. Kone, thank you. I want to move on because we have four wonderful, three current students in the DMin program and one graduate of the DMin program. So four. And I'm going to give them each about 5 minutes to say three things, share a little bit about themselves and their background, number one. Number two, why they began to study at HJI. Number three, what are some of their most meaningful experiences during their time at HJI? Our first former student who graduated and has served even on our faculty, has taught courses, brilliant young woman, is Dr. Mari Curry. She is with us by way of video. So I'd like to first turn our attention, Dean Boyd, if you could start the video, please.
Hello, everyone. It's so nice to be with all of you today. And I'm so excited to share about the Doctorate of Ministry program. For me, I started my journey in 2014 and completed it in 2021. Yes, 7 years. It was a long journey, but I'm a mother of 4 children. So it really took some time for me to get through all the coursework and to finish my dissertation, but it was so worth it. It was worth every late night and every sacrifice because I feel that this degree has helped me in all facets of my life, from ministry and my personal life. The tools that I garnered in the classroom, I use regularly, and the growth I experienced allowed me to expand my heart and see the world and my faith from a fuller perspective. It gave me the tools I needed to improve my ministry as a pastor and later vice president and an education director, and now even in my own family. I can't tell you how many times I took tidbits from classes that helped me be a better parent and helped me navigate spirituality with my children and with my spouse. And I am truly grateful. Now, technically, I know you can serve and be really good in your role as a pastor or ministry leader without getting a degree. But let me tell you how much this degree enhances your ability to lead and how much easier it can make the curveballs and stressful situations. Because when you have the tools ready at your disposal and you have the education to back it up, it can make you more effective and more efficient. And I can't tell you how much I have valued this. I strongly believe that the courses that I took at this program allowed me to guide my community and let God work to help us buy our first church buildings many years ago, after many years of the local church trying to find a permanent home. But honestly, one of the most surprising things that I gained from this degree program was the ability to see how God has been working throughout my life and gave me the tools to help support me to find out how He's still working in my life in times of struggle and supported me in continuing to walk in faith even when I didn't want to. I am amazed at how many times I turned to the spiritual autobiography course and the tools I gained from there to help me in this process. It's been so helpful that I actually share it with most of my friends when they're struggling to find God in their life. And for that, I'll be forever grateful. Another aspect of this program that I am also truly humbled and grateful for is engaging with the faculty in between lessons being taught and gaining wisdom about ministry and life through precious interactions outside of the classroom. There are so many professors that are so willing to be a part of your life and are still actively in my life and who I consult regularly. There's one professor that prayed for me while I was giving birth to my youngest child. I have other professors that I consult when I'm struggling with life of faith decisions. And I had other professors that helped me see how, even though I was lacking in so many ways, how that when God called me, He also anointed me and qualified me for whatever role I was in. So constantly throughout my time in the program and after, I have felt so supported by these professors and the staff of HJI. Now, because of all these things, I recommend this program for anyone in ministry. I feel that this program gives you the chance to get to the next level. If you're good, it'll help you get great if you let it, and will help you build your ministry in the way that you desire, in the way that God's calling you to. And so I really hope that you'll give it a chance, and I really thank you for considering, and good luck on all of your spiritual and educational endeavors.
Well, thank you, Dr. Mari Curry. I got inspired myself. I may sign up for the DMin, Dr. Coney. Thank you, Dr. Curry. That was very encouraging and very informative. We're now going to hear from three students in this order. They are all current DMin students, Doctor of Ministry students at HJI. I'll begin with Crispin Lumbe, followed by Sherlonda McLeod, and then Alassane Kamakte. Now, Alassane, the third consecutive speaker, is also a certified chaplain, so I think he'll share a little bit about his experience there. But I've asked each of them three things again. Say a little bit about yourself, number two, why you came to HJI, and number three, what have been some of your most meaningful, most powerful experiences as a student? So if I may, and you each have 5 minutes. So I'm going to start off with you, Crispin Lumbe.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Wells. Thank you for having me here. Good evening, everyone. Dr. Coney and Sir Stephen Boyd. Well, my name is Crispin Lumbay. This coming next semester is my third semester and second year of the DMin program. I received my undergraduate degree in education in the Philippines, and in 2021, I received my Master's of Religious Education here at SGI. I am a unificationist. I met the Unification Church in 1994, and I became a member and a full-time missionary in 1995. And in August of 1995, I joined the 360,000 Marriage Couples Blessing, officiated by our founder, Dr. Reverend San Myang Moon and Dr. Hak Jahan Moon. And during my missionary work in the Philippines, I was assigned to a pioneering mission, witnessing and educating our young members. And I am currently working at one of the pharmaceutical companies here in New Jersey. My ministerial responsibility, I am a volunteer worship ministry director at my local church here in Elizabeth, where I oversee the planning and implementation of our worship service. Aside from my ministerial duty, I am also engaging myself in a nonprofit organization called the Filipino International Community of America. I was a former vice president serving our Filipino community by empowering and promoting Filipino heritage while impacting the larger American society. And I remember Dr. Wal's father once said, the Philippines as a second daughter nation will influence America. And this powerful vision has become part of my mission. And I am here at HGI to equip myself to bring that vision to our realization, to demonstrate my unwavering commitment to the Filipino community. And what attracted me to join the HGI or the previously UTS are the excellent courses offered in the DMin program. And of course, because we have a brilliant and expert faculties like you, Dr. Wells, like we have our brilliant professor, Dr. Connie, Dr. J.V. Dickles, and many others. And we also have a great network opportunities with alumni. But what inspired me most is the reputation of SGI for being known as having a strong emphasis on interfaith peace building leadership training. Because I believe that interfaith peace building leadership training are very essential to ministry for several reasons. One, when we are dealing with diverse communities, because in today's globalized world, ministers usually work with communities that are diverse in terms of religious beliefs, backgrounds, and practices. So this concept of education or training equips students or ministers with the knowledge and skills to engage effectively with people from different faith traditions to create inclusive and welcoming environments within the community. And also it helps us deal with conflict resolution. And also, for me, interfaith peace building training is not just about professional development, but also about personal growth, because it challenges students or ministers to reflect our own biases, our own prejudice, and assumptions and beliefs about other faith traditions. For instance, Dr. Wallace, when I was young, I grew up in a place where there was a conflict between Christians and Muslims. And I thought, when I was young, I thought that Muslims exist to destroy all Christians. But when I studied, of course, Islam with Dr. Koni, I learned the wonderful teachings of Islam. And I realized that I am also a Muslim, because a Muslim means a complete submission to God. Right, Imam Al-San?
Sure.
By
Yeah.
integrating interfaith peace building and leadership education training into the doctor of ministry program, we can become more effective leaders who can promote understanding and respect between faith communities. Ultimately, we will exist peacefully together as brothers and sisters. That's why we have our wonderful brother from Islamic community, Imam Al-Hassan. We have our sister Yolanda from different Christian denominations, right? And as a student in HGI, I have several meaningful and essential experiences with faculty, staff, and fellow students. For instance, mentorship from faculty. I was truly grateful for the faculty of HGI for their incredible support and dedication to our academic and personal growth. They always provide us with mentorship, guidance, and encouragement throughout my studies. They helped me develop as a leader in my family and in my ministry. So my family are so happy and proud of my transformative experiences at SGI. My wife said, "Oh, you are a better husband now." and I tell her, hopefully you will study HGI, so you will become a better wife too. So my participation in HGI strengthens my relationship with my family, my community, and even in my work environment. One of my coworkers said, "Crispin, why are you look so different?" So I began sharing them about my ministerial activities, and they were so inspired. And also the community support from the faculty, staff, and students at HGI, which emphasize building relationships, fostering supportive family, community, significantly cultivate my spiritual journey. Here at HGI, we are building relationships that provide a network of support even beyond the program. So in my opinion, Dr. Walsh, the DMin program of HGI serves as a catalyst for change in every family, society, and nations, and even the world. So as long as HGI exists and flourishes, the world has a greater hope to be a better place. Thank
Wonderful.
you, Dr. Walsh.
Thank you. Wow, I'm getting more and more inspired the more I listen to these speakers. Thank you. Very, very wonderful. I want to just keep moving though, because I'm watching the clock, and I want to go pretty quickly to Shalonda McLeod. She comes from a family of what I call spiritual aristocrats. Her father used to teach at HJI, and I had the blessing to know him and met her mother, and just such splendid people who have devoted their lives to making the world a better world. So I turn it over to you, Shalonda, that we can hear your reflection now.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. So,
Good evening.
Dr. Walsh probably he told a lot. My name is Shalonda McLeod, and yes, my parents are strong believers in HJI. And believe it or not, that's not why I came. What I realized along my own spiritual journey is that I needed more. I am from a Christian Pentecostal background. So if you know anything about them, you know we like the fire of God. But we also like to be taught. And I wanted to make sure that whatever school I went to, it wasn't closed-minded. I wanted to make sure that not only was I going to be effective in church, but I was going to be effective in the world. When you think of ministry, I want you to think outside of the four walls of the church. My ministry is basically a prison ministry, to where I go out and I assist people in the communities, whether they're coming out of prison or whether they're on parole and things of that nature. So for me, it was a little different. The questions that he asked us to answer, it was kind of like, wow, what guided me here is the Holy Spirit. What kept me here is the family. I was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer about 2 years ago. And it was in the middle of the program, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And when I tell you, this family of faculty and students rallied around me, they prayed for me, they took care of me, they checked on me, and most of all, they believed in me. And I really believe that that's the reason why I'm cancer-free now, and that I'm still here, pressing forward. At HJI, it was more than just a school. It was more than just an opportunity to learn more about God. I got to see God every single day in the faces on the Zoom calls. Every single day I saw them. We shared, we prayed together, and that's why I'm here. I wanted you guys to know everybody's going to tell you what school to go to and where you belong. But where you belong is where your heart is. The love we feel, the care we share for one another is unstoppable. And that's why we're all preparing to be doctors together. I came to HJI expecting an education, and when I walk out of those doors, I will be leaving with a legacy like no other, not just because of my mom and dad, but because of God, his legacy that will reign through each and every one of us. At HJI, I found where faith met strategy. Faith gives you courage. Strategy helps you take action. And when faith meets strategy, you become unstoppable. One of the kind words from Reverend Moon was, you should be a person who can establish the heavenly kingdom rather than just one who can go there. Those who can go to heaven are those who wish to be dependent on God, but those capable of building the kingdom are those who God could depend on. Here at HJI, you will realize who you are, what your purpose is, and be effective in this world. Don't think of just inside of the four walls of the church. I want you to think way bigger than that. I took a class with Dr. Carolina, and he taught me so much about business, to where my hair salon that I own now in Brooklyn is one of the top hair salons in the city. I took a class with Dr. Kone, and he taught me about conflict resolution. Now I win every argument I get in. The main thing is you never know what you're going to get out of this institution, but you will definitely walk away knowing who you are, what you are, and who sent you. I pray for each and every one of you that you make the best decision. Come on, just take a class. Definitely got to go to class with, take a history class with Dr. Mickler. And then you definitely got to jump over and take a class with Dr. David. Just come on and try it. And hopefully we'll see each other all soon.
Beautiful. Wow. Thank you. And I note that Dr. David is on the call with us tonight, so I'm sure he's happy to hear a shout out. He's been a great anchor on our faculty for many years and beloved by us all. So I want to, and I congratulate you on the prison ministry, especially. You know, it's something near and dear to my heart as well. Turn to our third student. As I mentioned, Imam Al-Hassan Kamate is not only a DMin student, but he's also a certified chaplain. So you have the floor, Imam.
Okay. What's going on?
Well, we hear you very well.
We can hear you, yeah.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
perfectly.
Oh, okay. My camera is okay, great. All right. So to
Actually,
begin with, my name is Al-Hassan in Ghana, West Africa. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Oh, okay. So, like I said, my name is Al-Hassan Abubakar Kamakte, born and bred in Accra, Ghana, West Africa. I was born to an Imam Abubakar Kamakte. It's my father. Had my early education in Damongo, a suburb of Accra, and later, had my elementary and tertiary education in Accra, where I had my degree in 2008, and then had my master's in 2013 before finally coming to the United States of America. So by the time I was in the United States of America, I was fully grown imam. I served in Yankasa community here in the Bronx, who drowned in Coney Island last Friday that were buried. May their souls rest in peace. That's where I taught. I taught Quran, Hadith, and some Arabic language, and Islamic history, of course. From there, I've been invited to so many places for sermon on Fridays and some lectures whenever there was an occasion with regards to Islamic events. Then anytime I attempted enrolling in educational program, for instance, my first attempt was John Jay College. When I went there, I was accepted, but I told myself, what do I need that degree for? No. So my mind kept on agitating. Finally, I had to give up. And anywhere I go, the wind will blow me towards ministry. To a point where I started working as a security in the Hilton Hotel. One day, somebody walked onto me and told me, you don't belong to this place. Go and reflect about it. Because he saw me ministering on Eid Day, and he was shocked. He didn't know that aspect of me. So when I came to work, he walked towards me and told me, are you an imam? You don't belong to this place. Please find another place. So finally, to cut long story short, another imam spotted me and said, there is a chaplaincy program. I will advise you to go and do it, CPE. Do you have masters? I said, yes, I do. Then I applied and I was taken. I did my first unit, and the experience that I got from the CPE actually broadened my scope of understanding the importance of diversity, cross-cultural competence, and so on and so forth. So that actually, increased my passion for that particular journey. So finally, I did my second unit in Bellevue. then ended in Westchester Medical Center as a chaplain resident. So when I was done and I was going, they invited me again to come and do another residency, but that was optional. So I opted and then did it. So when I did it, I was going again, then they called me to come and serve. So I reflected upon my first thought that anywhere I go, the wind will blow me towards ministry. So the drama reached its climax when Dr. Coney came to do some program at Westchester Medical Center. For some reason, I don't know what ensued, then we engaged in communication. Then this idea of DMin came up. Quickly, I just grabbed it. I started forwarding everything that was needed. And finally, I was accepted and I was happy. And to say, but not the least, I had never regretted for being in AJI as an imam. My colleagues have already spoken about the kind of, good times we had with each other, excellent lecturers and professors. I can name all of them. Lecturers that I missed a lot and I'm missing class till date. Dr. Coney is one of them. David is one of them. Mikla is one of them. And Carolina, you can mention them, So they further sharpened my, understanding of diversity, how we can all come together, from different religious backgrounds, from different faith backgrounds, even those without faith. The way to minister, the way to understand, your congregation and how to be present non-anxiously in order to be able to serve as a better leader for everybody. So it has also actually added some light to what I do as a chaplain, because I have learned a lot here, especially with conflict resolution and, being in crisis, how to handle, the crisis, not limited to only your congregation, but even with the patients that I take care of. These are some issues that come up. And for being in AGI, I would say I am empowered or weaponized with excellent tools that guide me in what I do as a chaplain and a minister. So, for that matter, Islamic ministry. And thank you very much. This is the little that I can say as far as my contribution is concerned. Yeah.
You packed a lot into a little. Well said. And beautiful representation, also the wonderful country of Ghana. So thank you and God bless you. Yeah, we've had Dean Boyd, but wonderful students. And Dr. Kone, you really have the best and brightest here. So congratulations. I think now I'd like to invite Dean Boyd to join, and we can take any questions that might be in the chat. But I know, Dean Boyd, I need you, if you will, to go over just a quick summary of our programs. So I don't know if you want to take a few questions first.
Yes, Dr. Walsh, thank you. We have one question that Dr. Kone answered in the chat box, but it might be helpful, Dr. Kone, if you don't mind to speak about that out loud. And then I'll go into the presentation about the degree programs.
Yeah.
The question is, what are the admission requirements to enter the DMin program?
Yeah, first of all, you need to have a master's degree. The requirement to get in the doctoral ministry is a Master of Divinity. But we do have a pathway for those who don't have a Master of Divinity but have a different master. If you have a Master in Religious Studies or Master in Religious Education or Master in Peace Studies, any master in any area, you can still take leveling courses so that you can get in the program. Depending on your master's, so we can work with you to get in the program, to get you in the program. So that's really the basics. So, and other details can come out through the application. So,
Great.
Mhm.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kone. Just to supplement what Dr. Kone said as a personal testimony, you do have to have a master's degree. I have an MBA. It's not in the religious field, but I was able to take courses that Dr. Kone refers to as leveling courses, really foundational courses that you need in order to understand and do well in the doctoral level courses. So I did that, one by one, and now I'm in the DMin program. So I'm really pleased to do it. So it is doable. So thank you for that, Dr. Kone. So with your permission, Dr. Walsh, what I will do then is I'll go right into the explanation of the degree programs. And I've kind of abbreviated my talk a little bit in the interest of time to respect everyone's time. So let's.
Yeah, I would just add, Dean Boyd, that that master's degree that you need, some of you may be on here who have your university or college degree, but not a master's degree. As Dean Boyd will explain, we offer a master's degree as well. So please consider that. So Dean Boyd, yeah, please go ahead with your overview.
Thank you very much, Dr. Walsh. So let me just share my screen. So the first thing I want to point out, again, I could talk many minutes about general aspects of HCI, but I want to get right to the point. I think this was most interesting to the folks on the call tonight. The first thing to keep in mind, as Dr. Kone mentioned, that what became very important to him, and I think it's important to all of us, HCI is a accredited institution, and the degree that you receive from HCI is recognized throughout the United States and actually throughout the world. We are registered with the New York Department of Education of New York Department of Higher Ed. Oh, sorry, let me fix this. There we go. And we are accredited by the Middle States Commission of Higher Education, which is a regional association. But for those of you who are not from the United States, the regional accreditation is actually highest accreditation in the United States. So we have we're accredited with by the same body that accredits University of Pennsylvania, Cornell, several Ivy League schools, Princeton. They are accredited by the same body. So we're at that level of accreditation. We also have a National Honor Society for Religious Studies, of which we are a member, the Theta Alpha Kappa Religious Studies Honor Society. And our distinguished students are inducted into that honor society. These are our programs of study. We have 4 areas that you can apply for and become involved in, enroll in. We have a certificate in unification leadership. We have a master in religious studies, and I know some of you on the call have that master's degree. We also have an MA in peace studies, as well as what Dr. was referring to earlier, the Master of Divinity, and of course our Doctor of Ministry, which we're focusing on tonight. So just briefly, the Certificate in Unification Leadership, it's not a full master's degree, it's a certificate, 18 credit program, which means 6 courses that you would take to receive it. And all those courses can serve as to be applied toward a master's degree here at HJI of your choosing. The Master of Arts in Religious Studies is a 42 credit program. It's fully online. You don't have to come to a class on campus. You don't have to move from wherever you're living to New York City. You can do it from the comfort of your home. And you can see there are core courses, for example, in the Old and New Testament, systematic theology, church history, world religions, ethics, etc. And you can have a concentration of your choosing, if you wish, in the areas of public and nonprofit leadership, interfaith peace building, unification studies, theological studies, and we also have a Korean language track. The Master of Arts in Peace Studies is also a 42 credit program, fully online. And here in this degree program, the focus is different. Core courses include peace and conflict studies, human rights law and government, conflict analysis and transformation, diplomacy and faith-based diplomacy, for example. And also you have research and you have an internship activity as a part of this degree program. So this is a very exciting program for those who are seeking to focus on that particular area. If you do not have a bachelor's degree and you would like to study at HCI, we are allowed to admit a limited number of people into the Master of Religious Studies and the Master of Divinity, even if you don't have a full bachelor's degree. If that's your case, I put my contact information in the chat box. Please write me an email. I'll be happy to explain more. The Master of Divinity is a 80 credit program with a theological curriculum and a ministry curriculum. And really, historically, this has been the gold standard for all individuals going into ministry, particularly those seeking to be ordained in their particular church and faith community. As Dr. Kone explained, if you don't have a Master of Divinity, you can still apply to the Doctor of Ministry program. And depending on what the kind of degree you have, we will analyze your studies and recommend certain courses as foundational courses, leveling courses that are actually to your benefit. Those courses for me opened up a new world. Me coming from a business background, going into the theological studies, these courses were absolutely necessary for me to begin to appreciate and value and do well in the Doctor of Ministry courses I've begun taking now. And this is the Doctor of Ministry program. It's divided up into two areas. We have seminars and coursework, which are, for example, spiritual formation, integration, transformational leadership, theological, ethical perspective on leadership, among others. And then you have research activities where, as Dr. Kone explained, an integral part of the Doctor of Ministry program is the research project or dissertation work that you do based upon your project. And again, I learned, as Dr. Kone pointed out very well, that ministry within the confines of the Doctor of Ministry program and really in the religious community as a whole is not confined only to pastorship. It can be much broader. It can be youth education, which I know that Crispin is interested in. In my case, is the world of education. So the work that I do here at HJI is a part of my ministry. And so my upcoming research and dissertation project will be focused upon that. So it's quite broad, and it's worth having a conversation with Dr. Kone to understand what your place might be in the Doctor of Ministry program. In terms of cost, these are some theological seminaries in the New York City area, their cost per credit. And as you can see, HCA International is extremely competitive. And at the same time, there are some very generous scholarship opportunities available for everyone who applies and comes to HJI. In fact, in the Doctor of Ministry program, students can receive a scholarship of up to 50% of their tuition. So please keep that in mind. Don't let the sticker price put you off from not talking more, or even applying to the degree program, because we can help you in that area. These are some of the courses that are coming up this fall that might be of interest to you. Maybe you just want to take one class. History of Christianity by Dr. Mickler, as Sholanda pointed out, is a highlight for all of us who've taken his classes. Dr. Wilson is an expert in Old Testament scripture. Dr. Thomas Ward will be teaching a course in unification worldview for those in the unification community. This is really a lecture on CAUSA 2.0. And as we mentioned at the outset, Dr. Walsh is teaching a course called World Religion and Encounter with Christianity. Classes begin this fall semester, August 26th, so you still have plenty of time to dialogue with us and get your application in. So you may not know if HJI is something you want to, a path you want to pursue. I love the way Alasonic talked about God kind of the wind blowing him in the direction of where he needed to go. And this is where he ended up. Sholanda's testimony is also very meaningful, but how God has been guiding her towards HJI. So I think the first thing you need to do is to pray. You know, you're here tonight, and that's not without meaning. God put you in this position. What does what we're sharing tonight have? What kind of impact can it have in your life? But if you're not sure, maybe you're not thinking about a degree program right now, I would encourage you, even for your own self-edification, to take a class. Honestly, I was so surprised when I took my first course in the best way possible. Engaging classroom, very bright. I mean, you see our bright students here. These are three wonderful examples of the kind of students you will dialogue with and study with in the classes. And actually very highly qualified faculty. I have been working in higher ed now for over 20 years at various institutions. And while I'm not an academic, I was exposed to the work of the professors, and I took classes in the university on the graduate level. And honestly, the professors here at HCI are of the highest caliber, very competent, very experienced, very wise. So you'll be amazed by their expertise. For those of you who are unificationists, there are both first, as you saw in the case of Dr. Marie Curie, and first and second generation. Crispin is a good example of first generation unificationist. Dr. Marie Curie, a perfect example of a second generation unificationist. And this is a beautiful place. You know, Sherlonda said she didn't want to go to some place that was closed-minded. Well, actually, I think we are not closed-minded. We are very open-minded. And because we know that God is working in many ways throughout the world, and that we all can learn from each other. And being in a class with someone from a different Christian background than mine, from the Muslim faith, from the Hindu faith, from other Orthodox faith, has really been an enlightening experience for me. So I really recommend you take a class. You know, it'll probably lead you to take another class, and who knows where you're going to go. God is putting you on the path, I believe. Pray in your heart, see if God is calling you to come here. So I think that from my personal point of view, HCI is affordable, very competitive, and we will help you as best we can. It's doable. Now it's not a walk in the park, right, Shalanda? You have to put your time into it. You have to organize your time and be disciplined, but it is possible, right? And it's extremely enjoyable, surprisingly enjoyable. And I think, as all of our students have explained tonight, as did Marie Curie, it's very valuable in your personal life, in your ministry, and in your professional career. So please, my information is in the chat box. Please copy it down. Here's my email address and my phone number. You're welcome to contact me. I'll be very happy to help you if you're interested in studying or know someone who does. And again, I put the application link in the chat box. Click on that link to apply. Normally there's a $30 application, but as a thank you to all of you for coming tonight and joining us, we're going to waive that fee to encourage you and lessen your financial burden. So Dr. Walsh, with that, I'll stop sharing now and I'll turn it back over to you.
Well, thank you, Dean Boyd. Excellent summary. And I really hope none of you who have joined tonight hesitate to reach out. We hope to see you. Our semester begins, the fall semester begins on the 26th of August. And hope to see you online. As was made clear, our classes, most of them are offered online. So this makes it very convenient. And we have the best learning platforms. The Canvas platform is used widely by the top universities all across America and the world. And our faculty use that to the fullest. So thank you, everyone, for joining. I hope to see you in the fall.